About 2 summers ago, I found myself obsessing over the light in my dentist's office. I gripped the edges of the dental seat and squinted up at the tropical-themed shutter. I remember waiting for something to happen, like a giant hand that would reach out from the ceiling and grab me, or a booming voice that would clearly tell me who I am. I thought I could find myself in the silliest things imaginable, like an old friend's smiles, or in the light reflecting in a water glass. I figured if I stared long enough, I'd see the reflection of my true self. 2 years later, and I still haven't caught a glimpse. Merriam-Webster defines self as the union of elements that constitutes the individuality and identity of a person. However, people often limit their idea of self to just one prevailing factor of their lives that they feel overshadows all others. One of the most common identity associations is when one attaches their concept of identity to a singular aspect of life. Examples can include profession, achievements, race, ethnicity, culture, age group, sexual orientation, religion, relationships, family, or even possessions. Have you ever tried to describe a new friend to someone? Chances are the first few things you'll list are related to what they do, their profession, and their achievements. I have also fallen for this identity association. As a teenager, I've been struggling with how I fit into society based on my age group. I used to consider myself a kid, as I felt too inexperienced with life. But now that I'm 17, I can't consider myself a child. I'm not quite an adult yet either. But I'm not just 17. I'm also a writer, a student, a first-generation immigrant, a frequent smiler. I don't have to limit myself to just one component of my life. Another common identity association is something that I like to call adopted identity. Adopted identity is when you associate your identity with someone else's perception of yourself. Having an adopted identity is highly dependent on external impressions of you. People can uplift or put you down on a whim. Everyone has an opinion. This is especially prominent in bullying, as the bully will repeat critical opinions to the individual over and over again. That individual may become conditioned to subconsciously identify with that insult. Other examples include rejections, or even awards, commendations, or any other documentation of another person's opinion of you. I used to solely rely on others' perspectives of myself to define my identity. I couldn't fully tear away from this adopted identity association until I received a rejection I took very personally. A while back, I auditioned for my high school's leadership class. I put my best foot forward, and I got rejected. From a young age, I was involved in student government. I started in early elementary school and continued until high school. I accumulated a variety of fancy titles as proof that external sources vouched for me as well. Student representative, associated student body, spirit director, and even vice president. I went to national student leadership conferences and took leadership classes in school. When people asked me what did I like to do, my first and foremost answer would be related to leadership. So when I got rejected, I couldn't recognize myself. All because of one external opinion. I had to find out who I was going to be without external validation. I had to find the center of my inner self that had been untainted by outside influences. And I found that our identities are not limited to just these associations. While they can make up some of our identity, there is no singular component that makes up our entire selves. In fact, These associations have as much power as we give them. But our identities are beyond what we associate ourselves with. Identity isn't just what we've been through in life. It's what we've learned from our experiences. People can retain different lessons from the same experience. In the end, it's our subjectivity, the individuality of how we comprehend events that makes up our identities. Identity is an imperfect tool to describe the entirety of me or you or anyone else. Like trying to contain the whole ocean in just one drop of water, our human essence vastly outperforms our identities. 2 years ago, I wanted to either return to a version of myself that had been in the past, or fast forward to a version that will be in the future. I felt lost. Today, I don't think I'm lost anymore, or that I ever even was. My identity was just changing, as identities constantly do. We spend our whole lives trying to define who we are, but the answer is elusive. There is just too much in a person to even capture incomprehensible thoughts. Identity has no sense of time, only a sense of being. You just have yourself, and that is enough. Thank you.